Okay, you're going to do 7? Okay. Alright, Reggie, tell me what you did first.
Alright, so what is that thing called when you...
T-table.
Okay.
Because it looks like a T. See? It's a giant T.
Then you write -2, -1, 0, 1, 2.
Okay. And then what did you get for your Y values?
I got -2, -5, -6, -6, and -2.
Yes. Should have had 2 -5s.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yes. Did everybody else get their T-table right so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay, based on a T-table, what's our vertex?
Sit on that table.
Yes, because that's the one that doesn't repeat. Awesome. Alright, and then instead of you telling me every point, I'm just going to plot these and you're going to check my work. How about that? Okay? Alright, so for -2, 2, -1, -1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0, -6.
No.
And then you connected it with a U, correct? How'd we do? Yeah?
On the test, I'm going to have to make our own graph, or it's already going to be.
I don't know.
I realized number 2, the example 2, I got it wrong, so I don't want to do that one.
Okay. Now, what I want us to do real quick is something we talked about last period, but I forgot to yesterday with y'all. What does this graph look like in comparison to this one? Oops. This one.
It's bigger.
It's not really wider. I just have bigger graph paper right here.
It's a V. Well, it gets smaller, I mean.
It's more narrow, you mean?
No, you had, don't you have those little lines in the middle?
So where does this one start?
0.
Oh,
Okay. And then how far apart is it from the axis of symmetry?
It's vertex.
And then how many? Okay. So let's look right here. Our vertex is down here at 0, -6, correct?
Yes.
And our axis of symmetry, because it's right in the middle, is still our y-axis. How many units away is this point? And this one? Okay, so that's still the same. But what did we do with it? How does it look different than this graph? You moved it down. Yeah. And how many units did we move it down? 6. You started at 0, 0 on this one because it was x squared. This one was x squared -6, so it moved it down 6 units. That's it. That's all we did. Now, this graph, this function, is called your parent function. You need to write that down. This is called your parent function. Now, the reason it's called a parent function is because your parents create you. This creates all of our other graphs.
I love you, man.
I didn't come up with that. That's literally what it's called. I didn't just make that up. For once, it's like an actual thing, not just me. But yes, normally it is just me being weird. So write down that this is the parent function, because on your test I'm probably going to ask, what is the parent function of a quadratic? And you're going to need to know that this is the parent function of a quadratic. Circle it, heart it, baby Jesus it, star it, something so that you know. Alright, we ready for... What did you do wrong on example 7, Natalie?
Okay, I don't know. I just plotted it wrong, I guess.
Okay. Well, how about I show you what I got from my T-chart, and then you tell me what you did differently.
Okay.
Alright, so do we use the same -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2?
Yes.
Yes. Do we use that every time?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, -2 squared is 4, and 4 plus 7 is 11. Alright. Okay, well that was an easy fix.
Is it 4 plus 7 or 4 plus 5? I mean, x plus 5.
Oh, 5. Thank you. I got excited.
Oh, that's what I was like, yeah.
No, guys, it's me. Y'all were answering it correctly. It's just I wrote down the thing wrong. Thank you, Miss Brister. Okay, so 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay. So we're okay now?
Yes.
I'm just a crazy person. Alright, -1 squared is, and 1 plus 5 is? Okay, 0 squared is? 0 plus 5 is?
That's where I messed up.
Okay, 1 squared is? 1 squared? 1 plus, yes,
9.
And then 9. Okay, so here's a great thing that you can see. Once it starts repeating, once you get to here and you see 6 again, just write down the 9. That way you don't mess anything up. Also, somebody's phone is going off over there. Can we turn it around? Because I see like it's in the pocket.
Oh, that's fine.
It's okay. Can we just turn it around? Do you mind if Bryn just turns it around? Thank you. It's just like shining at me and I didn't want to be distracted. What are you muttering? Okay, so since this is +5, do you think it's going to move our graph up or down?
Down. No means arriba.
Arriba.
It's going.
¿Por qué?
Porque es positivo.
Yep. I would give you a point if I could. Alright, so -2, 9. I would go left 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, goodness. Alright, -1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, we know that this point repeats, correct? That this is our vertex? I don't have to worry about plotting. I can just match it up.
That's fine.
I know. That's the point of the axis of symmetry, is that you just match it up. We're going to learn how to, well, we're going to learn all kinds of fun things next week with it. All right, what's my vertex?
Oh, it's
0, 5.
yeah.
0, 5. Good. And did we move it up?
Sí.
And we didn't widen it or anything, did we?
No.
It's still 1 unit away, and it's still 2 units away there. So we didn't widen it or anything. We just moved it up. All right, number 8. Example 8. That was a good one. How many of us think we did example 8 correctly? Good. 2 people.
I have a question.
Awesome. Yes.
How do you know if the x-axis go up or down? Like when you're making your t-table?
How do you know if your points are moving up or down?
No, about the line. The x-axis. Like, I don't know how you put the line up or you put it
Oh, it depends on my points. Like if my points are high, I'm going to move it down. If my points are like big negatives, I'm going to move it up. That way I don't have to have like a giant graph on there. That's a good question. All right, example 8. It would help if I write 8. Okay, can someone read the problem to me so I don't flip and get confused?
Y equals 3x squared.
Thank you. Now, what did your graph do on this one? Or do you want to wait and check and make sure you got it right?
Sorry, me?
Anybody? If you graphed it, what did your graph do? You didn't notice? Cool. Alright, what is -2 squared? And what would you do with that 4 and the 3?
Multiplicar.
You would multiply them. What's 4 times 3? Alright, -1 squared.
1.
1 times 3.
3.
Alright, 0 squared.
0.
0 times 3.
3. No, 0.
0. 1 squared.
No.
1 times 3.
3.
And then 12, because it starts repeating. Yep. Yes, 2 times 3 is 6, but remember you got to square it first. Yeah. So it's still order of operations. Use your exponent first, then multiply. All right, now, Mackenzie, since my numbers are bigger, am I going to move my x-axis down or up? Do I have positive numbers or negative? Okay, so I'm going to move it down, all right? So that I have plenty of room above it. Awesome. Okay. We ready?
Oh, does it matter if it's down or up?
No, but you save space if you like pay attention to your numbers.
Oh.
So you don't have to make a giant graph every time. Okay, so our vertex is what point?
0, 0.
Okay, and then my next point is -1, 3. So I would go left 1, up 1, 2, 3. And then -2, 12. I would go left 2, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now, is this where it repeats?
Sí.
So can I just plot my points on the opposite side?
Sí.
As long as it's the same units away.
Una B.
It's not a V, it's a U.
Es una B.
Is that better?
No.
It's a long U.
Yes. Now, think about our parent function. And I'm going to graph it on here, but I just want you to watch. I'm going to graph the parent function. What did it do from our parent function? This is the parent function. What did our blue graph do?
Zero más.
Yes. It got skinnier. It stretched it, right? So when you multiply by a whole number, it stretches it. How do you think we could make it wider?
Menos.
Menos moved it down.
Sumando. Restando.
Sumad moved it up,
Can you
right?
stop speaking Spanish? Can you speak English? Something everybody's saying.
Can you learn Spanish and then you'll understand what everybody's saying? There we go. Sumar is adding. Arriba is up. Abajo is down. Anything else?
Say that one more time.
Okay.
Okay. Up, arriba.
Okay.
Down, abajo. What was that one? Sumar is add.
Okay.
Okay. So not adding because that moves it up. Not subtracting because that moves it down. Multiplying makes it skinnier. So what would we do?
Dividir.
Yes, we would divide. Or we could multiply it by what?
Cero.
No.
Uno, tres.
What else is what is division? What number do we use that we say is division every time?
2.
Cero para mí.
X, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
It starts with an F.
Cinco.
Fraction! Yes, we would multiply by fractions for it to go wider.
Sí.
I know, a fraction is a number.
Oh,
Right? 1/2 is a number? That's a fraction?
she got me confused.
Okay, can I just draw our T-chart for number 9 for you? For 4x squared for you to check it? And then the same thing for this one, and not graph it. Can we be fine with that? So, can you turn that air on? I'm dying. So, for this one, thank you so much. -2, -1. Alright, -2 squared is,
Cuatro.
and 4 times 4 is,
Sabe.
Wait, which part are we on?
I'm on this one, and I said -2 squared was 4, and 4 times 4 is, okay, cool. -1 squared is 1 times 4, okay. 0 squared, 0 times 4,
Cero.
1 squared,
Cuatro.
1 times 4,
16.
and then it repeats. Now, do you think that this one's going to be stretched?
Sí, mis.
Because we go from 1 to 4, or 0 to 4, right? Okay, now what would this do? Since it's a -x squared plus 2, what would it do?
Negativo para abajo.
Mm-mm.
No.
No?
No.
The graph will go down, but what will the graph do? Since it's plus 2.
Sumar.
Each stand.
Yeah? But what does it do? When we added here, when we said x squared plus 1, what did the graph do?
Sí, su ancha.
It moved up 1. When we said x squared plus 5, what did the graph do? We went up 5. So if I say x squared plus 2, -x squared plus 2, what's it going to do? It's going to go up 2. Is it going to be going up or down since it's negative?
Down.
Down. It's going to look like this, but move up 2. Okay. Do we need to practice some more together, or do you think you could try a worksheet and then we'll check it?
Ay.
Think we could try a worksheet? Okay. All right, so this is what we're going to do.
Dormir.
And we're going to pass, like,
Yeah, you don't pass it up.
no, we're not going to walk around. Y'all are just going to 2, 3, 4. Here you go, Will. This is for y'all. And then, Colby, will you pass these to Natalie? And then she's just going to take one and pass. All the way around. Pass 3 back. And Jalen can do it. She's going to grab 3 and send it back. Thank you, Jalen. Nick, you need one, son. Why did you make that so complicated? Take one and pass, guys. We got to go all the way around the room. Take one and pass.
Hola, maestra.
Hola.
Risa.
Take one and pass. Take one and pass. Let's go. We got to go all the way around the room. What's wrong with you?
No.
Are you sure? Stop. Okay, let's look at number 1. Now, this one is multiplying by 2, so we're going to use the same numbers. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Plug those in, and then we're going to do g of x together. Remember, g of x is just a fancy way to say y. There's not a back this time. And you shouldn't have any homework if you can get this done.
À, cái này đâu có gì. Rồi thì nhập cái lần bán cả.
This. You do your math.
You want me to do number 1 first?
Just number 1.
Oh, okay.
And then I want us to check it together, just to make sure. Know what I mean, Butterbean?
No.
¿Por qué no?
Okay, no.
Yes, very good. If you think you can do number 2, do number 2.
Okay.
Remember, you're just multiplying.
So same thing.
Yep, same thing. But what are you multiplying by on number 2?
Well, she got low though. That level's low.
Is that a second number 2?
It is. Alright, this is what I got for my graph. Now, compared to the parent function, and remember the parent function is x squared. Did it stretch it? Did it move it up, down, or make it wider?
Oh. I mean, not like, right. I'm just gonna leave that guy right.
Okay. X squared looks like this, and where you go right 1, up 1. This is our parent function every single time. Now, is that green line, did it stretch it? Did it move it up above the x-axis? Did it move it down? Did it make it wider? It stretched it. So anytime you're multiplying by a whole number, it stretches it. Okay, now do number 2. What's the difference on number 2?
Negative.
It's a negative. So remember, multiply by -3. So square it first, and then multiply by a -3. This is what your graph should look like on number 2. Because of this -3, it makes it a mountain. And it stretches it that way. How many of us got that one right? Good job. All right, do number 5. Give me just a second. All right, so there's my T table. Let me get. Okay, so -2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. -1 squared is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 0 squared is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 1, ooh, that should be a 4. I got excited. I just got excited. 1 squared is 1. 1 times 4 is 4. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. We're good? Ready to see the graph? Okay, now this one, -2 is all the way over here. They gave us a little bit of a wider graph, but it still stretches it. If we did it on a normal graph, wouldn't it be really, really skinny?
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah. I could be so mean, but I'm not going to. Alright, are we ready to look at number 3? Yes, no, maybe so?
No, I didn't know what you were doing.
No, I want us to look at it. I don't want us to do it yet. I just want us to look at it.
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, we need a mo.
Is it going to be the same?
Kind of. So, when you multiply by whole numbers, it makes it skinnier, right? So when you multiply by fractions, what's it going to do?
Make it smaller.
Make it big.
Make it bigger, make it wider, okay? Sit down, you're fine. Not yet, you're fine. So what is 0.5 in fraction form?
1 over 2.
It's not over because we're not cows. 1/2. So 1/2 x squared. Now, since we're dividing by 2 each time, I want us to pick x values that are divisible by 2. So what is the first number that's divisible by 2? So we're going to put 0 in the middle. And then let's do our negatives. What's the next negative number after 0? Negative 2. And then? Yep. So all we're doing is we're picking numbers that are divisible by 2 so that we don't have fractions in our answers. Divide dos. Okay, does everybody see why I picked -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4? No? Okay, because we're going to divide by 2, right? So we want to pick numbers that are divisible by 2. If we picked 1, 1 squared would be 1, and 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. We don't want to graph a half. So we want to graph a whole number, so we pick 2. And then you just multiply. So basically all you do is multiply everything by the denominator. So your normal -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, multiply it by 2. And get -4, -2, 0, 2, 4. That's it. That's what, you can do that. That helps. So what would we have to multiply it by on number 4? Okay, so let's do that. -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. And we're going to multiply it by 3, because that's our denominator, by the denominator. That's it. That's all you're doing. So what is -2 times 3? What is -1 times 3? -3. What's 0 times 3? Okay, what's 1 times 3? And what's 2 times 3? Woo! Alright, ready to look at number 6? Or do we need a mo? Okay.
When to be 1/3? No, 3/4.
It's 75 cents, right?
So 3/4.
So how much? 75 cents is how many out of $1? 75 cents is how many quarters?
3.
3 quarters. Do you know what money is? Okay. So if I have 75 cents, right? This is 0.75, and we're going to pretend these are quarters. That's 1, 2, 3 quarters. Okay? So that's 0.25, 0.25, 0.25. How many quarters make up $1? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 3/4. What is it? You just use money.
I didn't know.
Yeah, anything with like 5 or 25, you use money. Every time. So then this one would be -3/4. So what would we multiply -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 by? By 4. Good. I like how many O's there were whenever I showed you 3/4 and quarters. Y'all are funny. Alright, multiply those by 4 and then put them here. We're going to have to do something special on number 6 though.
No me digas que otra cosa. Yo no entendí nada. ¿Tú cuándo?
Wouldn't it be -8, -4?
Yes, 4 and 8.
40.
Yes. Yeah.
Doesn't matter how ordered these.
Yes. Yeah. Least to greatest. Alright, so now let's plug it in for this one. Let's plug this in. So we have -4 squared. What is -4 squared? 16. Okay, now we're dividing by 2, correct? We're multiplying it by 1/2. So remember, you're dividing by 2. It's 1/2 x squared. And x squared was 16. What's 16 divided by 2?
8.
So we get 8.
Okay. So it would be -2.
-2 squared is
+4.
+4. And 4 divided by 2. Remember, we're dividing. 2. You're just dividing by 2. Jalen, that's all you're doing.
So instead of multiplication.
So, yes, we're dividing. When it's a fraction, you divide. So -4 squared is what? Jalen? Negative 4 squared. 16. ¿En 16 dividido 2?
Maje, ahí se está hablando.
8. Yeah. That's how we got that. That's it. And then negative 2 squared is? Okay. 4 dividido 2. Yeah. That's it. That's all you're doing. Alright, so 0 squared is? 0 divided by 2? Alright. 2 squared?
2.
2 squared is 4. 4 divided by 2? 2. And then it repeats.
8.
Ta-da!
Parada.
I want you to finish, and we got time. We can, if we hustle, we can finish before you leave me and you don't have homework.
Ya, mis.
Sit down. You're not
Ya me
going
voy.
anywhere. No, you're fine.
Adiós.
Y el maestro te quiere ya.
Oh,
Ahí está. Adiós. Mi, ya me voy.
No.
Tengo hambre.
yo también.
Por eso, vámonos.
Te está quitando la fuerza, ¿no?
Ooh, look at how much wider that made that graph when we multiplied by half. If I could actually connect my dots correctly.
Yeah, I got that.
Did y'all get that? Okay.
Ponemos el
So what would you divide by right here?
3.
3. And then you would divide by 4 here, but then what does this negative 3 do?
Lo cambia a negativo.
So multiply by negative 3.
I'm thinking myself.
Where, baby?
I thought we were supposed to multiply it times 3.
We did. And we got negative 6, negative 3, 0, 3, 6.
Yeah, but when you're doing your, it's 1/3, and when you
Then divide. Don't square 1/3. Okay, are you ready? Let's walk through the steps.
Ponemos el Barcelona
Okay.
versus el Real
So you
Madrid.
do negative 6 squared and you get?
12.
No.
3.
No, negative 6 squared. Negative 6 times negative 6 is...
Negative 3.
Stop.
12. It's
36.
36.
36.
I know.
Okay, now 36 divided by 3.
It's 12.
Yep. You're fine. We're practicing. That's the point of this, right? Okay, now it's negative 3 squared. No, 9. 9. And 9 divided by 3 is?
3.
Maje,
0.
And that's going to be a 0 because
3. 9. Y adiós.
cállate, maje.
Mi.
No es 12.
Tiene bien agarrado.
You're welcome, honey. Okay, now on number 6, divide by 4, then multiply by negative 3 at the end. You got to finish for, yes, good. You got to finish for homework because it's time to go to lunch.
Adiós, mi.
Hasta mañana.
Pinche Jorge.